Hey y'all, I'm back, Dominique Murray with Make It Happen Sis, the podcast. And as you guys know, every week we bring on Make It Happen Sis members and have them talk about their businesses and ventures, things they have going on. And then we tackle a topic of the day. And so I'm really excited to bring to the chair today Miss Keisha Bibbs, and I'm going to throw it over to you. Go ahead and let us know about you and your business.
Hi, I am Keisha Bibbs, and I'm excited to be here on this podcast today. I am the owner and founder of Responsibly Armed, Self-Defense and Tactical. And at Responsibly Armed, we teach you how to be responsibly armed. And so we are firearms instructors with a goal to help educate the community on how to properly, safely, and responsibly, hence the word, use your firearm. And so that's what we do.
Okay, how did you get started in there?
Amazing. I'm just a girl that likes to shoot, right? So I am not a police officer. I do not have prior military experience, but I am a good shot. Like, I can shoot, right? So I started a while back. I joined a female gun club where I was the vice president, and through that experience, I was able to get some really good training from some really good people in our community, and I realized that I really just wanted to give back what I had just learned. And so through that process, I started to train. I trained on my own and invested in myself, and then I turned that investment into something I absolutely love, which is giving back to the community. So I wanted to empower people, particularly women, because oftentimes we're seen as the victim. Empower women to protect themselves in all different manners, specifically with a firearm, but in other ways as well. So through that, my business partner and I have really grown Responsibly Armed to something that we absolutely love. And at the end of the day, our biggest reward is to see people overcome fear of what they thought was something really, really bad.
That's good. And I love, you said that, so you started in a women's gun club. Mm-hmm. Did you already know how to shoot them? Were you already familiar with the gun, or is that what prompted the whole?
So I did know how to shoot, but the prompting of all of the other stuff. Mm-hmm. So that's where it blossomed. And I think that's where it really just took off, and my dream became a reality.
That's amazing. How long have you had Responsibly Armed?
So Responsibly Armed has been in business for 3 years now. We've trained over 200 people in the Middle Georgia area. Mm-hmm. So we're really excited about that. Yeah.
I love it. I actually took one
you
of the
did take my class. Did you enjoy the class?
I absolutely enjoyed the class. I was a better shot than I expected to.
Exactly. Most people are, because if you just listen to the instructions, right? So we were excited to have you, and I think we had you for our Mother's Day.
Yes.
And you got to do it with your mom. And it's always nice when you can learn with someone else. Mm-hmm. So I know we're talking about learning firearms, but when you can learn with someone else, and then you guys have a common interest in protecting yourself, it makes it a lot better. So I have young ladies that are coming back for more and more and more classes, and doing really good. Like, I'm proud. Like, hey, she trained with me. So doing a really good job at it.
That's great. And I love the whole empowering part of it, right? Like you said, like you did it to empower people. Yeah. And I think, when I went with my mom and stuff, and having, two strong Black women up there, like, teaching us about guns, it was very empowering. Now, with that, would you say, are there any misconceptions that you have to face, being in this industry as a woman, as a Black woman,
So I think when the world changed, and we felt the need to have to protect ourselves, for me, I have not experienced some of the shut doors that Black women would experience, because there is such a big market. You felt comfortable getting trained by a woman, but there are a lot of women don't want to be trained by men. And ultimately, in the 2A community, or the Second Amendment community, we want people trained. So there was a need. There was a need for well-armed women to be able to train well-armed women. So I haven't had or experienced any closed doors, not a lot of closed doors, but a lot of willing people. People that were willing to not only train me, because I am not going to train you on something that I am not familiar with. If I can't execute it myself, then I'm not going to train you on it. So I had people that were willing to pour into me, open some doors for me and give me some opportunities. And they were all men. And through that process, it has grown my business and kind of given me the jump that I needed to get started. So I haven't experienced the shut doors. There's of course there's competition, but there's competition in each industry. But I think it's more about me giving back, because I could really do this just because I love it. But why do that?
Gotta eat.
Gotta eat, mama, gotta eat. But it really is. So for me, it has been, it's a growing industry. Women in firearms is a huge industry right now. It is such a huge industry that there are firearm makers, producers of firearms are now reaching out to women and asking them, how do you clothe yourself so that we can make holsters that fit your body? How do you handle the firearm so we can make guns that are appropriate for you? Because there's not really a female or a male gun. It's the one that fits your hand, right? But industries are now looking into it. Why? Because women like to spend money. And they do. And there is a huge market. But in that, there were, in 2020, the number of women that went out and purchased firearms almost tripled from 2 years prior. And it was because they felt the need to be safe. The problem is the training for those number of women did not. And that is where we come in. We need to get people trained so that they don't negligently discharge their firearms. So,
yeah, I think that's so important, that training part, because you don't want to do something, negligent, and then at the same time you don't want to do, like a lot of us we're guilty of, is have that firearm, just having it, like
just having it under the bed. I got a gun. It's in the closet. It's under the bed. It's in my purse. So even yesterday, I was with a young lady, and we were at a location, and she was like, "Yeah, I got something on me," and I'm like, "Do you?" So she was like, "Yeah." I was like, "Well, what do you have?" She was like, "A 9." "A 9 what?" She was like, "I don't know." I was like, "You should probably know." So I was like, "Well, just let me see. How do you have it in that bag?" Because the bag didn't look very sturdy. And she opened the bag, and it's like upside down. It had no magazine in it. It had stuff all around it. Baby, you're going to hurt yourself before you can shoot that gun. And somebody will hurt you if you try to pull it out. And I think there are a lot of conceptions about having a gun. It feels good, it feels powerful, but you're not powerful if you don't know how to use it. So that's what we are here to do. We are here to demystify all of the myths that are out there, all of the things that people believe about firearms. Because when you came to the class, like all the stuff that you thought, oh really?
Exactly.
Like, so that's what we're here to do.
Thank you. What would you say are some of your biggest challenges as being an entrepreneur, not necessarily in this industry, just in general?
Marketing. I think we've talked about that. Marketing and making sure you get out in front of people, that they know what you do, and really just trying to build your brand. That has probably been one of the biggest challenges, because you want to put it out there in front of people. You want people, everybody reads reviews, so getting people to put reviews and getting people to even join in, because it's an investment. It's not, hey, I just want to go to the range and shoot. For me, it is an investment, but that's everybody, everything we do. So some of those, and I'm just not a content maker. I'm just not, I'm a little old school. So that content maker and sitting around making videos all day, that has been a challenge for me. And it's difficult when we're talking about business and growing a business. So yeah, that's my biggest challenge.
And I think it is for lots of us, right? Because the landscape has kind of changed. Like, that didn't exist before. Having to make videos and constantly engage with people, it was just like, here's the, people knew what they wanted, or you show them what they want, they get it and they go. And now you have to do so much community building, which is a great thing in a sense, because you do build that community, and you get to know people and can better serve them. But then that's a whole other like job and task in itself, right?
And it's not fun sometimes, trying to see, because you don't get to pick what people like and what you don't. And you have to be so careful on what you're saying and what you don't say. And not that you can't do it on print, but you got a little bit of time on print. When you're live, it's just live. So content making is probably my biggest challenge.
Yeah. And then you throw in the algorithm tricks and all that stuff too. Like do something that hits one day and then they switch it up on you, and you do something that would have hit, but only 10 people saw it, and you don't know why only 10 people
You're like,
saw
oh my God. So now that you mentioned the algorithm and things, one of the things that's very difficult in firearms is maintaining being a lady, right? So I say that because the history behind firearms in women have always been the sex appeal of a woman holding a firearm. And I don't want to brand myself in a way that is not appealing to me as a classy, middle-aged adult, and not a sexy, I'm using this not for my self-protection. And that has been a challenge in the industry itself. Like, how do I sell myself without selling my soul?
So is that big in there?
Oh, it's huge. See, I mean, if you flip through any magazine with a girl with a gun, she got a midriff on, she got her hips out, she got little bitty shorts.
Because they're marketing to men.
Right.
They're not even marketing
Right. So then they think that
women.
that's all I need. That's what I'm here for. No, I'm not. I'm not trying to market to a man. I'm marketing to the women that want to protect themselves. So that has been a challenge.
I guess that could kind of be the plus side of where content and things do come in, because then you can narrate your story and say what it is that you represent. It's just making that content.
Yeah, that part.
Okay, so I want to kind of transition into the topic of today, which is all about safety. As you know, it's something that I feel like we don't hear enough about when it comes to the entrepreneurial world. And many of us are solopreneurs, and we're working all by ourselves. We're traveling along, going to events by ourselves, new places, working in, one person shops. And that is something that should be discussed, safety. And my question for you is, why do you think that it's not like a huge topic right now? We don't talk
because
about that.
We're comfortable. We have been snowed to believe that our security is everybody else's responsibility, right? So if you were in a one-person building, let's say hairdressers that are in there by themselves, right? They cut on the alarm and they're in the building and they feel comfortable, right? That's their space. You're most comfortable inside of your home. You cut on your alarm, you're not walking around with a gun on your hip, right? But
I'm not.
You're not. Your husband might, but you're not. But so those are places where we're comfortable. Nobody's going to violate us there. This is what you're used to. And typically that's when our guard is down the most, and it shouldn't be. So entrepreneurs, they don't protect themselves because this is where they come every day. And every day, 365 days of the year, they've been safe until that one day, right? So that's why we don't talk about it. You don't think about somebody's coming to rob my business. Just the other day I was watching the news and it was a hair salon. The guy came in to rob the business and everybody sat there and watched him. Wow. To the point where he couldn't rob him, he had to just leave. One girl got up and she was just like, dude, wrong place. But that was their environment, but most people are not going to do that, right? If they have committed to robbing somebody, they are going to go all the way. So we just don't protect ourselves because we're comfortable. And that's why nobody's talking about it. The security companies won't tell you that. Security companies just say, hey, get a camera.
Yeah,
that's your life. Get a camera, But what happens beyond the camera?
So true. So it is something we are going to talk about today, right? Because I think it is very important being out there on your own and ways we can protect ourselves. And so I do want to start off with talking other than firearms, right? Because a lot of people aren't comfortable with firearms. What are some tips and things you have for people and how they can stay safe without using an actual handgun?
Perfect question. Love the question because it is more than handguns. Before I get into the tips, I will say that a handgun is your last resort. Right? So your handgun is the last thing you want to look at. And you do want to look at non-lethal ways to stop people. So we know the familiar pepper spray. Of course, you got pepper spray, you got stun guns. And then you have Kubatons. Kubaton is a long baton. You see the police with the big wooden ones. But there's a Kubaton that you can carry in your purse. It's about that long. And you can pop it out. And it's metal. And it'll stop some people, right? So you have Couboutons. You have the things that you can put on your key rings. There's like not quite brass knuckles, but there are little knuckles that have spikes on them that you can keep on your key ring. So when you are putting your keys in, you just put your fingers in, keys in your hand, and you have spikes on this hand. So those are things when you're going in and out and moving about. You can also have tactical ink pens. If you're sitting in an office at a desk, you can have a tactical ink pen, and that tactical ink pen could have a lot of things. You know, it could be an ink pen and it'll look like an ink pen to you, or it could look like all the other things that are sitting inside of it, like a knife or a fire starter, or all of those things, a compass. So a tactical ink pen you can pick up anywhere for a couple of dollars. So those are things just right off the rip. If you did not have a firearm that you can easily carry with you, right, a deterrent. But above all of that, you need to outfit and look at your place of business, you know, or your car. If you're traveling in your car, what's in your car that's going to keep you safe and protected if anything should happen, right? So your car, you break down on the side of the road, you got a flat tire, and you got on your stilettos. What you gonna do? You know? So then some man decides he wants to stop and help you fix your flat tire. What is in your car that is going to help protect you if you did not have a firearm, right? So one, you want to be able to take off your stilettos, so have a go bag. So where we call it a bug out bag, but a go bag. Like, I gotta have an extra pair of tennis shoes, socks, pants, shirt, water, things that I know immediately I can get up and go with. And so if I have to stop on the side of the road, I need to be prepared for that moment. Because in that moment, I decide whether I'm going to be a victim or victorious in fixing my car and getting off the side of the road, right? So a go bag. And then what other tools, if somebody did stop to help you, what other tools are in your car that can help you? Do you have, I know it sounds crazy, but I ride with a pair of scissors. But I ride with a pair of scissors because I might be on my way to a party and I might need to cut something. You know, we get dressed in, you know how we do it. But scissors in your car, things that can be sharp instruments that can protect you. If somebody pushed you inside of your trunk, are you really going to be a victim, or how are you going to get out? Like, these are things that you have to think about. Either you have a mental plan that can match a physical plan, or all you got is a mental plan and you'll never be safe. So you got to have a mental plan that matches a physical plan. Right, mental plan that matches a physical plan.
I think so many of us have that mental, you're like, oh, I would do this, I would do that. But like you said, if physically none of that is in place, that is not going to do anything for you.
Because you're just going to fall back to your last method of training. And if you've never been trained in how do I get out of this trunk, you're just going to be in there screaming, right? Get me out. No, you put me in my trunk, there's some things in there that will save me. Not necessarily you, but me. Like, is there something in my first aid kit that is going to be safe for me, right? If I got to put jumper cables in there and things that are going to, you know, a jack for my car, what else is in there that I can use to protect myself? And I know cars have the release, you know, the little release, but do you know how to use it? Do you know where it is? So those are things that mentally we think, okay, yeah, I know this. But you never physically actually try it. And that can be very scary, right?
So true.
So imagine somebody on the side of the road pushing you in your own trunk.
And I mean, it happens, not to be like, you know, negative and stuff, but those things are things we need to prepare for, right?
Absolutely. And it's not about negative. Like, the people who are prepared to succeed, not prepared to fail.
So true.
Right?
Yeah. And I think back to when I did take your course, and I think one of the things that was really kind of eye-opening for me was kind of the little test you did on us. When we're in there, we've been in there a few minutes, and I think you said, you're like, how many deer heads were on the wall? And I was like, huh? Like, when you walk through the lobby, we have to walk through a lobby, and like, how many people were in uniform? And I did not know, and my husband gets on me about this all the time. He's like, where is your essay? Where's your situational awareness? And what tips would you say, like, how do people improve on that? Because you need situational awareness, especially as, someone who's out working by yourself? How do you improve that?
So, great question. You can improve your situational awareness by playing a simple game with yourself, right? When you're driving to your next destination, I know you're spending time trying to think, am I ready? But start looking at tags. How many cars are from Georgia, right? So you're creating a memory, and you're working through watching things. How many posts, the billboards, how many billboards did I pass between here and here? Because if the police asked you where you were, where were you? You're on this dark road on your way to your next business venture that you have never been on. Where am I? How many mile markers are you seeing on the road? And these are just mental, hey, I noticed 3, I noticed 5. And then the next time you travel that road, ooh, that was 3 or that was 5. Noticing how many McDonald's, things around you that you keep a mental count of. When you walk into stores, noticing where all the exits are. How does the door swing back and forth? Because that's important, right? If you ever been on to Bill Outlet on Watson, next to TJ Maxx. So if you ever been in Bill Outlet, you will notice that their doors are off-centered. So one door sits kind of center, but the next door is not behind the center door, it's off to the right. Part of that is for them, theft deterrence. But if you don't know that, and something is happening, you can't get in and out of the door because the doors don't open in the same direction. One of them opens inward and the other one opens outward. So, yeah, you'll be all kind of jacked up. But noticing those things when you're out and about, when you go into a store because you got to buy supplies, right? Noticing where those supplies are, who's where inside of a store. Because you want to be a good eyewitness as well as a good ear witness. So noticing things that you hear. Because let's say you were back in that trunk. Like, what did you hear? How many people were out there? So you got to know when you come out of the trunk, because you're coming out. How do you protect yourself? Do I need to take out 2 people, 1 person, 8 people?
That's so true.
So all of those things, it's all about everything you see and hear. Situational awareness and being prepared for that is always about you and you alone. You cannot depend on someone else for your safety. Because as women, we want to say, I'm with my husband and he's going to protect me. No, you are your protector, because the first thing that someone is going to do is come after you. After your husband, because they don't think you are a protector. You're the victim, right? And so this is about not being a victim. So situational awareness, when you're walking into a store, when you're getting in and out of your car, if you're a nurse and you're walking from the hospital to your car, like, you can't have a firearm in those situations. But there are things that you can have. You can have your surgical scissors in your pocket. You can have, things, a file, a nail file. There are things that you can have in your car, inside of your purse. And you don't want to have to dig in your purse, right? You don't, because if yours look like mine, used to look, you just don't want to dig in it. So there's a lot of different things that you can do to just make the mental habit of watching, looking, and not being so distracted.
It kind of reminds me of, like, when you think like health and wellness and like kind of being mindful and present and stuff, it ties into that, because it's like, if you are actually being mindful and you're being present and in the moment, you're aware of everything that's going around you. And I think so many of us, because we are juggling so many things, where, like you said, like, I'm thinking of, okay, what am I doing at this event that I'm headed to, like going through my pitch, going through all these different things, and not being actually in that moment. And that could, potentially save my life or make some huge change. And so I think that is very important. Something I know at least I need to practice. And I think that all entrepreneurs should
absolutely
work on that situational awareness.
Something simple. The time of day you get gas, and where you're getting gas. Because, you get it in the wrong neighborhood, it can be bad for you. But planning those things out, it is about a plan. Planning it out, knowing where you got to get to and from. I think it's all, if you can spend that time working out, like you said, going into a gym and doing those things, then you can spend that kind of time to protect yourself.
Mm-hmm. I know for me, one thing that's kind of helped me be more present and aware is when my kids are with me, I've noticed I have a higher situation awareness because you have your kids, right? Like you said, I would never get gas at dusk or anything. Like I'm getting gas bright lit areas where we know, just because I have them with me. And so to kind of keep that mindset as if they were with me
always, to
make those, and it's sad that I got, we should protect ourselves the same way, but do what you got to do to keep that kind of awareness. So,
exactly. I mean, even at home, anywhere. And if you go to Walmart, I hope you keep that kind of awareness. Especially at Walmart and even Target, but especially at Walmart. But you're absolutely right, because there are levels. Like when we are with our significant others or someone that we feel is a protection, our guard is all the way down, right? So we are on what we call level of awareness white. Mm-hmm. So we have no awareness. When we're on our cell phones, we're calling about this business meeting, and I used to talk about all the time, I'm in my mobile office, which is my car, and I'm trying to handle business. But in my mobile office, I'm super distracted. Besides the fact that I'm driving, but I'm distracted about the things that are around me because I'm focused on the conversation that I'm having. And so in talking with others, even not just me, just talking to people who are in security and doing security on a whole another level than I am. Mm-hmm. They don't talk on the phone when they're in the cars. They don't listen loud to loud music because they need to be in tune with what's happening around them. Mm-hmm. When they get out of the car, it's not, oh, am I at the right place? What's around me at this place? So the questions become very different. When they walk into a room, it's not, am I going to the right place? Who's in here with me? Mm-hmm. And how do I get out of here as quick as I can, knowing where the exits are? Even the exit's the window. Mm-hmm. I was at a baby shower and I was sitting there and a girl was like, where the exit's at? The better question is, how you gonna get out of here? But she was like, oh, there's a door over there, door over there. I was like, hey, but there's a window right in front of me. Mm-hmm. And that window, how it opens, I just go straight through the window. Mm-hmm. If I got to get out of here. She was like, oh, I didn't think about that. I'm like, it's my life or somebody else is going to take my life. And I like my life.
Right. I like my life. And I'm thinking, not really shifting gears, but thinking about a lot of business owners out here. And I think, especially here in Middle Georgia, there's a huge pop-up market, right? Ooh. Like there's pop-up shops all the time out here. And, sometimes people travel to get to them. A lot of times, again, people are doing them alone, maybe with one other person. Mm-hmm. What kind of tips do you have for vendors that are going to pop-up shops and, busy carrying all this stuff to these locations?
So I'm with you because I've done a few pop-up shops, and I think it goes back to the very basics of just being aware, right? You got to know where you are, and you vet that pop-up shop. All pop-up shops ain't meant for everybody. So, you want to put your business out there. That might be one you just need to put your card out there. So, but when you're at those type of locations, again, knowing your exits, knowing your audience. I did a pop-up shop, and every time I do one, I am very strategic about where I put my table. So I am not going to put my table in the center of the room. Not likely. Because I don't want to have a hard time getting out of the room. I'm not going to put my pop-up shop far away from a door because I need to be at the closest exit. And everybody, like, this is just overkill. No, it's not. It really is strategic. It's if you don't have a plan and you don't move that plan to something that you can execute on, then you plan to fail. So when I'm in a pop-up shop, everybody can't be near the exit. That's just what I do because I want to be responsibly armed in all situations, not just with a firearm, but armed in my own self-protection. So typically if I'm sitting there and I have to talk to people, I take somebody else with me so that you can man this while I have conversations. And if it's you having conversations, then we can play off of each other. That way we're always watching merchandise at one time or engaging customers at another time, but always protecting ourselves. I got to have somebody that has my six. And so I know everybody doesn't have that, but if you have that opportunity, I would certainly do it. But having those small things, that you can protect yourself again, the stun gun, the Kubotan, the tactical ink pen, and anything else that you feel like can protect yourself in that moment. Being aware when you take stuff out of the car, don't carry everything in one, like we'll put all the groceries in our hands and try to carry all of it. No, don't do that. You just set yourself up, right? So be able to keep a hand, fairly free, be able to move about. Yeah, you might have to take a few more trips or whatever.
One of them big,
get you a wagon or something. Yeah. Carts are good because carts can then be used.
Block the person.
Yes, exactly, girl. Yes. So yes, carts are good. You can block them. You can use it as a part of your weapon, just like a buggy. A buggy can be a part of your weapon. Even how you get in and out of your car. If you're ducking your head all the way into your car and your body is still sticking out the car, you're setting yourself up, right? So just being aware of how you're moving about in your day. And then, engaging people in their eyes, right? So looking at people when you're walking about. And you don't have to mean mug them, but they know I see you, right? I see you. And so we don't, a lot of people walk with their head down and things like that. Look at people in their eyes. Take notice. That's another thing you could do. Take notice of what people have on. Like, you just like, oh, you cute today. Yeah, she got on beige and some jeans with some black sandals.
I see you 6'2".
Right, exactly. So just take stock of everything. Now, will you remember it all? Maybe not until a traumatic situation happens. Because even when we talked about in the class, how many workers were there? Like, these are people that are going to help you, right? And you don't even know how many are in there. So you got to know.
She's talking about me. I failed horribly.
Listen, but you got to know. So do y'all have security guards here at my pop-up shop? Because guess who I'm going to meet? The security guards. Hey, my security guard. I need to know if you know how to use that thing on your hip, right? I mean, I know it sounds crazy, but we're talking about a solopreneur, someone who's traveling by themselves, who has to have their own protection in their hands. So simple stuff. Make a friend. Talk to somebody,
I like that. And it is really, like you said, very simple. Like, don't be in the middle. Be on the outside. Go with somebody. Have your little things with you. Like, I think those are very easy things we can implement, right?
Pre-plan.
Yeah. And then I do know, so you teach firearm training, but then you also do a few other classes. Are there any classes you would suggest that entrepreneurs take or people that, work along take?
So some of the things we do is concealed carry kind of in your home. So we'll go through your home. We kind of set up in your business. So we'll look at your business and say, these are your hot spots. These are your spots where if you were caught in this room by yourself, how would you protect yourself? And help you set up a strategy for your home or your business, and making sure that you're safe. Back to our beautician who's in there by herself. When you're at the shower bowl, what do you have that's going to protect yourself? And that's always the question, right? What do you have that's going to protect yourself? And if someone came in to someone at the dryer, what happens when you have a husband who's upset with his wife who's sitting under the dryer? Because now you are still a protector of your business. What are you going to do? Someone comes into your business and say, hey, give me everything you got. And you're sitting at your desk. What are you going to do? So we kind of walk through that with you so that you can create this mental plan into a real plan. One that you can execute and you can feel comfortable with. We talk about those that's probably the biggest thing for entrepreneur, is outfitting their business. Strategically putting your cameras. Yeah, you got cameras, but are they strategic in your real blind spots?
And that's because I feel like the security companies don't really.
Yeah, they just want you to get it right. They don't care. Where do you want it? You want it right there? You want it right there? I'm like, okay, it's gonna point just right here, and then you have this whole hallway that you really need to protect, right? So we have that. We have a emergency first aid type situation. Back to my beauty salon. What if that girl under the dryer then she's shot by her significant other? How are you going to save her life? And it is emergency first aid and tourniquet and stopping the bleed and all of those things, because you are responsible for that person inside of your business. So we give those. Women in firearms, teaching them just women in general, how to protect themselves. And then we go way left. We go outside, we run out, do all the other stuff, tactical type stuff. Yeah. But for most entrepreneurs, getting them the basics of, this is what I need to do to protect myself, protect my the people that are frequenting my business. That's what we're more into.
Yeah, thank you, Keisha. I feel like there are some things that I know personally I can go and implement today, and I hope that everyone else can do the same as well. If they have more questions or they want to book a class or anything, how can people reach you?
Awesome. Well, we can be reached on Facebook at Responsibly Armed, LLC, or Responsibly Armed 1. We can be reached on our website at www.responsiblyarmed.net. Or Instagram, all the stuff, right? Responsibly_armed_LLC. And you can check out our reviews. So one of the things I do like about us is that we get a lot of reviews from people that have taken our class. And you can check out our pictures. We kind of tell you what we do and what you can expect. Our classes, if you have questions, if you just want to know, is this right for you? Because I want people to vet your firearm instructor. If your firearm instructor can't do what they're instructing you to do, that's probably not your firearm instructor. Okay? So vet them out. And just because they say they were a police officer or they were in the military, that don't mean they know how to shoot.
I was in the military.
Right? So vet your firearm instructor and make sure you're comfortable with them, because your firearm instructor should do life with you. Like, you're talking about saving a person's life, and so they should take you on this journey and not just, here, come take this one class. You need to have multiple classes. It is a whole process. And one class will not teach you everything you need to know. It is an investment in you and your self-protection. So if you need to, I can be reached at 478-294-0359. That is my direct business line. And you can call me with all your little questions and concerns. And I love people who have never shot before. Oh my God, I got a gun and I ain't never shot, right? Those people are my favorite, because all you get is exactly what you came for. And you don't have any other way of doing it other than the way I tell you, which is right. So, for those who are afraid, we love them. We are very patient, and we hear that a lot. It's crazy because I don't feel like I'm patient, but people are like, oh my God, you're so patient. We have criers. We have people that are super scared. We have people that close their eyes, but all of them walk away feeling like, I did that, right? And so that's what we really want. We want people to come in and feel like they can handle their firearm in a safe way. So give me a call, check us out on Facebook, sign up on our website, and we'll be glad to be your firearm instructor to help make you responsibly armed.
There you go. And I will be back for another class.
Yes, please. Thank you.
All right, y'all. We'll talk with y'all soon.